What's going on, family? This is Agent Dynamite Sloan, the living legend. Listen, serial entrepreneur. Just excited to be able to share some information with you guys.
What were the initial steps you took on your journey to become a successful entrepreneur?
Execution. You know what I'm saying? I think hard work and beat talent when talent don't work hard. For me to be able to become where I'm at, I've been in this deal over 20 years. And so the steps was make a plan, work the plan, stick to the plan. I think a lot of people get distracted on this entrepreneur life with friends, families, people, naysayers that haven't seen or done what you're trying to get done. I always believe that you don't take advice from people who lifestyle that you don't want. You know what I'm saying? And so if you want to get a mentor in a subject matter or area that you want to be successful in. If you want spiritual elevation, get a pastor. If you want dentist, get a dentist. You know what I'm saying? If you want entrepreneurship and business advice, talk with a person that's been successful in business. Because all these people are different. I think one of the issues that people do, they take advice from just general people that they respect, but they don't take advice from people that's successful in a subject matter that they want to be successful in, because ultimately that is the difference of a person being able to tell you exactly what they did, and a lot of times it's going to make you uncomfortable. You ask your pastor advice, but he's not a successful businessman. His advice is going to be different than the person that actually paid the price to be successful in business. So as you guys being boss dads, the whole initiative is for you to get mentorship from individuals that's been successful in business. And in my early career, in my 20s, I'm 41 now, in my early 20s, what I did is get advice from people that were successful in business, and it made me alter my thought process. It made me alter my execution, and I turned down the static of distractions to be able to be clear about what I wanted for life. So I think one of the first things you need to do is take good advice from mentors that are successful in the subject matter that you want to be successful in, and then do the work.
How important is community and strategic partnerships in the growth and sustainability of your business?
As everything, I think great strategic partners are essential. In my book, 10 Dynamite Principles of Success, I looked at the 10 principles that helped me over the last decade and a half in my career. In my career, I retired by the age of 30, had enough money saved up from what I did in my 20s that I took 3 to 4 years off of business, and I just lived off the investments and savings that I had. And so for me, strategic partnerships is everything. Like when I came back out of that space, I understood that a big part of the deal is you focus on what your strength is, and then partner with individuals that are stronger in other areas than you, so you can stay focused on your strength. I think a lot of entrepreneurs waste too much time. They trying to get strong in every area. I'm good at strategically planning and executing, but my schedule is so busy, right? I might miss meetings or oversight of a conversation. So having a person that keeps me organized is what I partner with. Having a person that was good at marketing, you know what I'm saying, is what I would partner with. So I'm good at delivering the message, but I needed people to organize the schedule and the call to actions to the clients to do the conversion. But I'm good at closing the clients, right? So I think strategic partnerships are very, very key. It's actually one of my 10 principles of success in my book, making sure you partner with your weakness. Too many people are trying to strengthen their weakness versus partner with their weakness. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I did. I've always focused on what I'm good at. I'm good at executing. I'm good at pulling people together. I'm good at executing what my plan is that's in front of me. I'm really, really great at pulling the people in and empowering them to do what they do. And I think that's a key factor. If you want to accelerate your growth, you need to get really, really comfortable with partnering with people that's good at what you're not, so you can focus on what you are. I think so many entrepreneurs try to be good at everything, and it absolutely slows down your growth. You know what I'm saying? You slow down your own growth because you're trying to be good at everything before you start. But the reality of it is the more exposure you have, the more closures you have. And so if you really get good at just getting your message out there and exposing more clients to your message, you're going to close more business. So focus on your strengths and partner with your weakness. That's the key to being able to have exponential growth.
What have been your most effective revenue generating strategies, and how have you maintained consistent financial growth?
I think it kind of goes back to the same space, right? Again, I know my strengths. So my most effective strategy of it is understanding what God is leading me to do in my life. Like I'm very intentional of being caught into the season. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have thoughts and you can have visions, right? But they're out of season. You know what I mean? It's not the time. I think one of the things most entrepreneurs fail at is every time they get a thought, they think they're supposed to do it right now. But if you understand spiritual elevation and you understand God may give you something, but it's for the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to execute every thought right now, but God gives you an opportunity to be able to see what direction you're going for the future. So he plants a seed in you, and then the universe has a very, very strange way of being able to bring it into fruition when it's time. And so I think one of my greatest strategies to answer your question of it is maximizing the season, of understanding in real time when I'm supposed to execute a strategy and when I'm not. I'm a quarterback by trade, right? And so when me playing quarterback so long, I'm grateful that I played that position, because I learned that pay attention to what your surroundings is. If I see the safety pulling up and I know it's about to be a blitz, then I know I got to have a quick pass. That's real time in season. If I see the safeties dropping back and I know I got more space, I know I'm supposed to change the play, call an audible, and run a draw. I got to run the ball because I can get more yards. So I think the reality of it is that in strategizing, how do you become effective in the game of entrepreneurship, you always have to view what's in season and you execute the right play for the right time. I think too many entrepreneurs get caught in their mind and they only want to run the same play. They could see the blitz and they'll still run the run. It's because they want to. You know what I mean? And so the reality of it is what you want to do is not always what you should do at that time. And it takes real discernment to be in the season to understand how to adjust that play. You know what I mean? And so I think more entrepreneurs need to get more in tune to the market, their industry, their strategy, and don't be afraid to call the audible, because just because you think it don't mean that's the right time to run the play. And so one of my key things of it is I don't mind calling the audible. I can have a thought, but it ain't the right time. So I'm going to adjust. And I think it's my hidden secret, you know what I'm saying, of how I move. I know how to do a lot, but I can't do everything at the same time. I can only do what the season is calling for. So one of my strategies is of how I make money is I adjust to what the market is and what the season is. And then I'm going to run the play that's going to score in that time. And so in that space, that can mean so many different things for a person. It can mean so many different things for the entrepreneur, what your business is. But my advice would be never be afraid to adjust. Don't get stuck in a box where you just running what you feel or what you think is going to work, but you have not picked up your head to be able to see how the climate has changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very, very key. Like right now in this market, people can say they want to do real estate. That's the industry I'm in. I know new construction is better than fix and flips. So if I'm a fix and flipper, am I going to continue to do fix and flips because that's what I want to do? Or I'm going to adjust because the market has more margin on new construction. So I think for me, the best strategy is always being flexible. Never put myself in a box, and always being willing to adjust to whatever the market is. Because the goal in business is to be successful, not to have an ego. Because at the end of the day, we in business to make money, not just to do what we want to do. So if the market is calling for blue shirts, I'm going to give it blue. So my strategy is to be flexible. That's the secret sauce of being a real entrepreneur that can win in any climate. You always got to be willing to adjust.
Can you describe a significant setback you experienced and how you overcame it?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a setback very, very significant early in my career by working with individuals who didn't celebrate my wins. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you're working in a team, and if you in a team that you can feel the energy, getting spiritual, like I'm a spiritual person, so I can feel energy that's around me. And I began to win in my season of business. And the mentor was coaching me and teaching me what to do. But I'm a competitive person and I'm a win. Like I'm a buckle down, I'm a go. So the setback of it was that in the 48 laws of power, the number one rule is never outshine the master. It's actually rule number one. And so my inability to pay attention that the person that was teaching me was actually feeling uncomfortable with how fast I was growing. And I was young and I didn't pay attention that my mentor was uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable with the fact that he had a growth and he had a desire to be number one. And I took our friendly competition as just being friendly competition. And I didn't take it literal that he was actually feeling some type of way. My immaturity at that time didn't allow me to be humble enough to let him win certain, conversations, or for me not to say certain things. You know what I'm saying? And this is an art of business, because business is very political. And him feeling some type of way, he actually got in my way and slow down my growth and cut off $30,000, $40,000 a month of income. Now, imagine being 29, 30 years old and you're making 30, 40 grand. You know what I'm saying? And you know that's about to go to 50, 60 grand. And I was always taught the minimum wage for an entrepreneur is $20,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? That you really not making money until you start making 20 grand a month. So I'm already over that minimum wage and I'm actually about to go to another level, but I'm so locked into what I'm doing that I didn't pay attention to my surroundings. And in that space, because I made other people feel uncomfortable, it actually hindered my growth. Deion Sanders said something and I thought that was very key. Deion said that, don't allow my confidence to offend your insecurities. When he said that, I related to it because when you're a very confident individual, you could offend people insecurities because they have goals and desires for themselves as well. And it has nothing to do with systems, money, or anything. It has to do with people. And because at that time, I felt that I was impacting people and the fact that my mentor was making money off of what I was doing. So I thought he was okay with that. But the reality is he had an internal emotional desire that I overlooked. So in the 48 Laws of Power, it says never outshine the master. And the one who taught me the game, I was outshining him. And so when you start outshining the person who cultivated you, they'll do things that slow you down. And early in my career, I didn't even realize that was a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I did early on, I was so ambitious that it was dangerous. And it actually cut off $500,000 in income. So what I realized of it is that the strength of a leader is to elevate and empower others. So after I had that setback in my career and I had to reset, and it took me 2 or 3 years to recover from that. But I realized that the biggest strength of a leader is to empower other leaders, to put other people in a position, whether it's a person that's a mentee that's learning from you, or as a person that's a mentor that's inspiring you, to always edify them, always figure out what their goals are. You know what I'm saying? Because every leader is looking for a mentee that's willing to be taught. And every leader has their own goals of what they're inspiring to do. And I learned that mentors are willing to put mentees in a position to win as long as they don't overstep their boundaries to actually hinder the goals that they have as well. I learned how to partner with other people's goals and help them hit their targets. So whether it was a mentee or a mentor, align with the vision so I can accelerate the vision and not to be a distraction to the vision. And when that happens, you actually can get to your goal faster. That was a goal that I had to learn, and it was a humbling experience. That was a mistake that I made. I outshined, and I didn't care about the feelings of the person who put me in position because I was having success. Man, I was actually having more success than him. But when I look at it now, 10 years later, had I would have been humble enough to keep my head down, a lot of issues that I had in my career, I could have avoided. But God is good, you know what I'm saying? Because I learned that lesson and it put me in another situation to be doing what I'm doing now. So it's a lesson I could teach to other individuals of understanding whatever environment that you're in, if a person is cultivating you because they see something in you. And whether it's a mentee of mine or a mentor that I'm learning from, I know how to keep my heart hungry and humble at the same time, that it doesn't take away from me to build somebody else up, that everybody's feelings and their goals are important as well. And just because I have my own goals doesn't mean that I should overshadow someone else's. So that was a huge lesson and a failure that I had to grow from. And I'm okay with understanding what it means right now because it made me a better person. Sometimes you got to lose to win. And that loss put me in a situation to win now. In 10 months, I've cultivated $4 or $5 million in assets. You know what I'm saying? And empowering individuals all around the country. But my heart is in a good place that I understand the assignment of what today is. So that loss actually positioned me for the wins that I had not now in this project. And over the last 5 years, I built another organization that helped 200,000 people across the world in 50 different countries to be able to grow. And in the first 30 days, we did $1 million in revenue. You know what I'm saying? And so over the course of that whole organization, we probably did $15 million, $18 million over 5 years. And I learned that my position was to empower people, never to belittle or overlook anybody else's value. My job is to put people in position. And that kept the money going and kept my career being successful. So my failure early on actually I learned from that lesson to help position me to do what I'm doing right now.
What are the top 5 books that you recommend for men who are entrepreneurs or fathers looking to grow personally and professionally?
All right, top 5. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki for sure. How to Win Friends and Influence People by, Carnegie. That's a for sure. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. A book that I'm reading right now that actually talks about the Federal Reserve, the creature from Jackal's Island. That's a great book to read from an understanding of the Federal Reserve, financing and money, that the U.S. system is really a cartel. You know what I'm saying? So you need to understand that to really understand the money side, because a man is a provider. So you need to understand leverage and how money works in the U.S. system. The Richest Man in Babylon. That's a great book to understand the financial principles of sowing and reaping and how money works. And Who Moved My Cheese? A book about change. You know what I'm saying? The simplicity. I mean, this is a small book, but it's a book I always reference back to, that one of the biggest things that any entrepreneur is going to have to do is be ready to adjust. You know what I mean? Too many people get stuck in their own ways. And when the cheese moves, you got to be ready to move. You know what I'm saying? It's a book about him and Hall. It's 2 men and 2 mice. That's how the book is set up. And the men are very logical. They kept going back to the cheese. When the cheese was gone, they kept philosophizing how the cheese was going to come back. But the cheese had been gone. You know what I'm saying? And it was 2 mice that as soon as they realized the cheese was gone, instinctively, they just went to go look for new cheese. And I think that's a good book for any man to read, because you can get stuck in your own mind. You are failing to adjust fast enough. I ran track, and my coach used to always talk about, you know, your bounce back speed. You know what I'm saying? Your recovery speed. I was a hurdler, so you can hit a hurdle and you so focused on that you hit the hurdle, you ain't adjusting your speed to catch up in the race. It might take you 2 hurdles or 3 hurdles to get some traction and before you start getting the lead back, but you have to adjust. So Who Moved My Cheese really taught me a book. It's a book about change, and change is something that you realize most individuals don't want to do. They don't want to change. Like, this is how I am. This is how my mama is. So my daddy is. This is how I am. But bro, like, you could be who you are, but still understand that just because that's who your family was, that don't mean that's who you have to be. You have to be willing to change. Like, evolution is a part of life. Every man, woman, and child evolve. A caterpillar goes into a space and it goes into a cocoon and comes out a butterfly. Evolution is a part of life. It's something called adulting. You know what I'm saying? You could be popping all you want. You know what I'm saying? When you was in high school, you was in college or whatever, military, like you was that nigga, you was doing what you was doing, you had these girls, whatever. But my dad taught me something. He said, yo, you can have all these women now, but you're going to realize you're going to have to choose one eventually. And that one ain't going to be everything that you want, but she might be 80% of it. So you got more what you want and maybe 20% of what you don't like, because there ain't no woman going to be everything. Any dad, any boss dad who really want to learn how to structure their mind, structure their influence, how to get comfortable with change, how to step out there and sow good seeds. As my grandmother always said, you get more bees with honey. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know how to change your words, change your demeanor to be able to attract what you want in your life. That's just how I go.